You know, I was going to draw a bunch of new poses to complete the look here, but, well, tick-tock, tick-tock. See that right there? That's why I'll never sing in my reviews. So, Kingsman, The Secret Service. I managed to see this a week before the release date. Score! And I managed to score the very last ticket. Truly, the spirit of Sean Connery's acting career is smiling upon me. Hallelujah! And I am so glad I did, because this movie is fun. I don't think I've had this much fun at a movie in a long time. I mean, I've seen movies that pulled on the heartstrings or offered some really deep drama or offered even some silly fun. But it's been a while since I've seen a movie that did all three. You're going to look at some characters and you'll say, oh, I know the arc they're going to go through. You're going to look at some events and say, oh, I saw that coming. But there'll also be some events that just throw you for a loop. You're like, holy cow, did they just do that? I can't believe they just did that. The trailers don't spoil everything, thank goodness. So what's the basic premise of the Kingsman, the Secret Service? There's a Secret Service called the Kingsman. Hey, this job's easy. The Kingsmen are a Secret Service branch not affiliated with any government. They enjoy total autonomy and therefore can go after the really bad guys, and they do it while looking fine. And our lead character is Gary Eggsy Unwin, although he pronounces it more with an X, so it's Eggsy Unwin. Of course, it's a very cultured name because I can't pronounce it. Seriously, my meter for cultured is how well can I pronounce it and how well can I offend someone by not pronouncing it correctly. And Taron Egerton does a fine job with it. He's playing the young man with this chip on his shoulder who lacks direction. It's a pretty common archetype. But unlike a lot of movies that simply say, oh, I never had a father, this movie not only explains why he doesn't have a father, but also the bad choices he's made along the way. So you can't just blame it all on, oh, I never had the right authority figure. No, son, you done goofed, and you should be grateful for this second chance. But the ex formerly known as Gary, has some competition to join the Kingsmen. But I don't think anyone will be surprised that Sophie Cookson, playing Roxy, is the other character you should be paying attention to. And I'm sorry to say, she's playing the token female heroine. You know, it's basically the writers trying to tell us, yeah, this movie is called Kingsman, not Sausage Fest. And yet, I will admit that I actually enjoyed part of her character arc, and more than that, she is not the love interest in this story. Yeah, it could develop into something if they ever make a sequel. Oh, who am I kidding? They're going to make a sequel. But here's the thing. They're not trying to force a relationship here. Unfortunately, Roxy doesn't enjoy a big role in this movie. In fact, even her parts of the mission are designed to keep her away from the action. No, the true femme fatale moments go to Sophia Boutella, playing Gazelle. And she's got a cultured name too, because I'm pretty sure I just mispronounced that as well. And like I say, she's got some pretty badass action scenes, but pretty shallow on the character. You're not really going to be invested in her beyond the body count, which is substantial. Not just from her, but, overall. Shakespeare would watch this movie and go, dang guys, dial it back on the body count. And it turns out Mark Hamill's in this movie. I'm afraid I don't recognize him anymore. The only reason I know he was in this movie is because I saw it at the Alamo Drafthouse, and he appeared on screen saying that if we talked, texted, or tried to record the movie, he would unleash an army of psychotic clowns wielding lightsabers to come and utterly destroy us. And I won't lie, I would have paid money to see that. The two people who are obviously having the most fun with this movie are Colin Firth and Samuel L. Jackson, respectively Harry Hart and Valentine. I mean, Colin Firth is just loving playing the gentleman who is also capable of destroying any number of people. I mean, if you think the trailers just gave away the best fight scenes, you're wrong. No, Colin Firth is a joy, and it's clear that he is just eating up this role, but not nearly as much as Samuel L. Jackson. And I know from the trailers, it looks like he's just reprising his role from The Spirit, with that funny lisp and all those strange costumes, but it all ties into his character. It all feels really genuine. You get the sense that this is a guy who can do horrible things, and yet he himself is too cowardly to face those consequences. But even beyond the actors, the cinematography and the music are just glorious. There's a moment in the climax where all the music, the colors, the camera angles, even just the CG, all of it just blew my mind. And anyone who's seen the movie is now giggling. And I'm going to say right now, please stop it because you're going to spoil it for everyone else. Seriously, stop it. There's only one scene that I actively dislike, because it runs counter to everything the Kingsmen are trying to represent. And I won't spoil it, but I will say you'll know the moment when you see it because you'll be saying, oh, don't you dare, don't you dare. But we get past that and we're on the way again. And like I say, this movie is not breaking a lot of ground in terms of plot. You'll be able to call some things, you'll be pleasantly surprised by some things, but by and large, this movie is not taking itself too seriously, but it's also not writing itself off as a comedy. It presents the cheese that was inherent to the early Bond movies, but it also has respect for that era. It's not just simply saying, God, weren't these people dumb? There are some emotional moments, there are some incredible moments of violence, and there's also some humor that older folks will appreciate. I'd say there's something in this for everyone if you're willing to be swept up in the flow. And I think I've stolen enough from Jeremy Jahns for one day. I'm not going to take his scoring system or his catchphrase. So all I'm going to say is I recommend The Kingsman to all, provided you're old enough to see an R-rated movie. If not, you'll probably go see it anyway. I'm Silver-Quill. Thanks for watching.